for Good Neighbor Station. That's been our objective since 1947. WGNS, AM, FM, and online. The Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and online at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday morning edition of the Roundtable Show with your hosts, Rick Hall and Wayne Blair. We come to you every Tuesday morning from here at WGNS Studios in Murfreesboro. And we try to bring enlightful personalities on every week to pep up your day and have a good day. But I feel like I'm under a little pressure today. We've got an intern that's in the building that's being able to watch us today, as well as I've got several of my cousins in from Florida that are out. They're sleeping in Smyrna this morning. I kept them out at Toots last night, so they got up, saw the sunset, so I'm sure they're laying around somewhere and watch it. So I want to say hi to my cousins Pam and Carrie Ann and her husband Josh and their three kids, Braden, Carrington, and Chase. Chase got a Shirley Temple evidently at Toots last night. Chase turned into Church, so we're calling him Church now. But good morning, everybody. How are you, Wayne?
Oh, good morning, Brother Rick. I'm fine. It's a gorgeous day, and have one of my favorite people with us this morning, and I'm looking for a fun show. With all the people's listening, just for you, maybe it ought to be just the Rick show this morning.
No. Nope.
But yeah, we I think we'll have fun. The March Madness is kicking in, and I guess with the conference tournaments, and then with Spring Fling, is that going on, or is that done, or
that's May, end of May?
End of May. Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's not hot
Boy
enough
State
for
tournaments
that yet.
this week.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's it. Okay,
Yeah.
so a lot going on in the county community. So certainly hope our teams have a lot of success.
Not that I don't want to keep interjecting here, but Boy State, Laverne boys are playing in their first ever state championship.
Cool.
And they'll play Independence tomorrow afternoon at 2:15. So,
And that's at
could use
MTSU, right?
yeah, they could use all of Rutherford County support.
Yeah, good luck to the Wolverines then. Good. Which is appropriate to have our guest this morning, because he's a former administrator there as well. So let me just go ahead and do a formal introduction.
Well, I didn't think we were going to get to it or not. I've got to go at some point.
So this morning our guest is a great friend, someone that Rick and I have both served with on the county commission, on the school board. Mr. Jeff Jordan, gosh, a litany, was that a correct word?
I don't know what it means.
Of chairman, school board member, chairman of the school board, commissioner, chairman of health ed, administrator, teacher, coach, just all around. Are we snoozing yet?
Rick has. He's falling asleep.
All around community leader and just good guy. Welcome this morning, Commissioner.
Most of those things that you just named, you were also those things. And I might point out, I don't know exactly how to say this exactly. Maybe you can help me out. But you were the top level educator, administrator in the state of Tennessee for a year. Did I say that okay?
Well, I was president of the state school board association.
Okay.
So how can I even be on air with you two?
Well, you went to school.
You have two interns now in the building. That's her and I.
Well, you with your long serving as a detective with
Oh, that don't count.
With some you were chair of
I guess we were hated about the same, so I guess it would.
You were chair of property management, were you not, when
Yes,
you
sir.
were on the commission? So
Yeah.
we've all chaired something, which is kind of cool. So
It's I don't think a lot of people really. I don't know, Rick, if you found this to be true or not, but a number of people don't really seem to understand about how the county commission necessarily does its job, and I'll use this as an example. I know you had this happen, Wayne. I know you've had this happen. People call you, and they're mad about something. Okay, that's not unusual, and that's okay. That's part of the deal. But they would, whatever it could be, it doesn't make sense what it is. And they said, "Well, I didn't know that this was going to happen." Mm-hmm. And I'd say, "Well, I don't want to correct you here or anything, but I said the county commission has been talking about it for 2 months. Well, I don't, and it's on television live.
That's right.
Well, I don't really watch that.
No.
I said, well, it's on the front page of the newspaper. It has been 4 or 5 times. Well, I don't really read the paper, but I was totally ill-informed until we get to the vote, the actual vote, sure. And then they're mad at me, and they didn't know anything about it. That's what they say, and I think that's you want to be informed about what your local government is doing, and by that I mean not just the school board or the county commission, but Smyrna has their elected officials and a wonderful mayor. We have a city council here, and we have a school board here. Our friend Butch Campbell is chairman of that school board, has been for a number of years, and it's easy to be reasonably informed and don't wait till the last minute.
I agree 100% with you, and I think of the days with social media that our city and county governments have really got to get on board and start doing the messaging that way. I know just what we're dealing with right now with school funding, and that bill has been placed before the lapse of our state delegation, and they took it up there, and it didn't even get a motion. That's a lot of times you'll get a motion in lack of a second, but not even getting a motion on it. And now what happens? Do the delegation come back and report back to the commission and the citizens of Rutherford County, or are they just not going to do anything? And nothing's being said, and that's been 3 weeks now. So it makes you wonder, through social media or something, we need a report of what's option B, because A is not going to happen.
Which is really, in my way of looking at it, certainly not fair when other cities and some other counties have the rights that you're talking about, and Rutherford County does not. But that I know we're not here to discuss legislation necessarily, but I do know this, that the number one problem, and it was that way when, it's been that way forever, I guess, but certainly in the last 20 years, the number one problem is a lack of money. There's just not enough money to do what you want to do. And I'm not just talking about Rutherford County. I mean, every level of government, there's not enough. And there's only 3 ways that I know of to get money. Well, 1, you can tax for it, and 2, you can borrow it, or you can do a combination of those 2. And so far, we've done pretty much the combination route.
That's right.
And if you county commission taxed Rutherford County citizens what they really need, the money that they need to do what they need to be done, that everybody seems to know pretty much what they'd be done. If they taxed for that in 1 year, they'd be down here and burn the courthouse down.
Sure.
I mean, the tax rate would be absolutely through the roof. And we fight that, and our legislators fight it. But there's only so much money.
Well, I think Rick makes a great point. If social media seems to be the way people are informed these days, either good or bad, that if a system of sharing how things are paid for, give for instance, say Rutherford County spends $9,000 to educate a child, and the state pays 60% of that or 55% of that, and somebody moves into and buys a home here in Rutherford County, and they bring 1, 2, 3 children with them, all of a sudden you've got almost $30,000 in education expense. The state's going to pick up 50 to 55%. The rest of that as local dollars, and if the homeowner's taxes, just say $1,500, that's $1,500 compared to $30,000, and depending on when they bought the home, the county might not see that property tax for almost a year.
It is possible. I know Don Odom explained that to us once, and I'm ashamed to say that I don't remember the exact figures, but it was possible to be living here for over a year and not pay a nickel of
That's right.
property tax.
That's right.
And so that's, you said, we'll just say 50%. That's $15,000 there, roughly, of education for those three children, who, by the way, must have it legally. They've got to have that education.
Sure.
So and that's just 1 year.
Right. And that doesn't take in consideration paying for courts and ambulance services and
Right.
Sheriff's Department and county roads. I mean, there's just so many things that the property tax has to pay for just about by itself.
Well, it can't be too long. It's got to be within the next decade where we're going to need another jail.
I agree.
You know,
Yeah.
and buddy, you're really talking expenses now. I mean, the school is in the millions. Well, so's the jail.
Sure.
And it's not a matter of, well, could we slide by with that? But you can't carry that forever.
That's right. I don't know if you remember when we were on the commission that I remember because I was on property management, but the property was for sale right beside where you think Leanna Swamp Road is, and 840 and the exit you get off, and to the west side of it there was a large acreage tract that went along 840, and it almost went to the river, and it was offered up for sale at the time, and it was somewhere around $800,000, and I was trying to get Ernest Burgess, the mayor at the time, to go and try to negotiate to get that property. But we were also looking at the courthouse at that time, if you remember, and there was a big push about leaving the courthouse in downtown, and they were afraid if we bought it, it would give the wrong message that we were going to put the courthouse out on 840. So we couldn't buy it. But it's still available, but obviously the price is a whole lot more than that now. But that would have been a great place for some of these county facilities, a school, or like you said, the jail, because we built the jail on a swamp. And
Right.
when we did that in the first place, and it's been nothing but a problem. But
You look at the last school that you and I think you and I, maybe you were you involved with Plainview Elementary?
Was I involved with it?
Yes, sir.
I think just the buying of the property.
Okay.
I believe.
Because
That's where my great grandson goes, by the way.
Okay. Rockville High School, which we both were involved with, and I think Rockville High School costs like $73 million, and of course state of the art, at the time. But I think that same high school today would be over double to construct.
well, Commissioner Wilson said last week that I guess they locked in the price with the Beatty Farm with the new school they're building out there, and it's somewhere in like the 157 million range. And if they would have done it right now, it would have been over 200 million just for that school that's going in out there. So
I wouldn't want to quote him wrong, so if I'm in, I don't think I'm in error here. But when Mr. Hewlin Watson, who is a friend of mine, a former boss of mine, and a fellow church member of mine, I think a lot of him, when he was superintendent, they had a committee to look over land in the county. This committee has been meeting continuously now for not the same committee, obviously. But anyway, they came back looking for land to buy. Okay, looking for land. As soon as you walk out there, of course, and you look over the land, the price goes up.
Sure.
Because they know it's the school board that's looking at it. But anyway, let's get past that. They come back and they've found two pieces of land. And they ask him which one they ought to buy, okay, for the next whatever school was going to go there. And he said, well, that's easy. He said, buy them both. And now, evidently then, that looked like maybe, I don't know what it looked like, but I know what it looks like today. Yeah, buy them both.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He was right. And we, gosh, how long have we been looking for land? I mean,
Well,
I don't remember when we weren't looking for land.
Well, I was elected in 2006, and we were looking for land then. And when I left the board in 2018, we were still looking for land.
And as Rutherford County grows and expands, which we've done and are doing as we speak, we'll are constantly looking. It's getting really tough to find the number of acres that you need to put a school on.
Well, the north end especially. I mean, Laverne, they needed something bad. We're having to bus kids out of Laverne into Smyrna now, and there's just no land left available large enough, like you're talking about, to place something.
It's not just a few lots or something that you're looking for. First of all, there's all kinds of rules and regulations that you've got to meet, and also what the state insists on. And when you look at a place like, well, Rockvale's maybe the most recent that we can really look at, and that we all three of us are familiar with. And you got to have a football stadium, you got to have a huge parking lot. Okay, you've got to have a softball field, and a baseball field, and pretty soon you're running into some serious acreage. And well, it's hard to find that anywhere in Rutherford County anymore, unless it's out in the woods somewhere, way out there. But Plainview's, where my great grandson goes, he's pretty close to Coffee County.
Sure.
That's it. You're right.
Yeah.
And we're talking about some issues here, but with this county community, we have, especially the school systems here in Rutherford County and in the city of Murfreesboro, we have amazing leadership. We have teachers that they live to teach, and they're having to use every nook and cranny to find places for students to sit and learn. But we have an outstanding public school system here in Rutherford County, and although we need more buildings, we need more educators, but we really have some great professionals here.
They're masters of doing more with less.
Yeah.
Just by the rewards and the things
comment,
that they even got with this latest state reporting, where the report card come out, and that, how it looked bad in some ways for some of the schools, but then again, it shined a light on most of our schools. I think over 21 of our schools that we had, all with great scores that came back, and they're doing more with less, and that teachers ought to be proud of that.
We have, and all three of us can remember things that we have, for whatever reason, we couldn't get done, and maybe we were wrong. I don't know. Somebody else will have to decide that. But to kind of tell you how things work, there is. If I could point to one thing, I'll point to this: Smyrna Primary. I was just adamant that we were going to fix the problems at Smyrna Primary. I was on the commission. I was chairman of Health and Ed, and I'll skip over all the details. But that school needed a lot of things. We got it all done. The commission did. I was really proud. Well, within a week, school board member Wayne Blair calls me. I wasn't excited to get the call, but anyway, he calls me, and he says, and he always butters you up, and he did that. And did what he's supposed to do, and then he said, "But I'm going to tell you something now that I want you to start to work on right now." And I thought, "Oh, here it comes." And he said, "I know where the problems are worse than Smyrna Primary, and we need to fix those too." And I said, "Well, okay, where is it?" He said, "It's John Coleman." He said, "Believe me." Well, I didn't know squat about John Coleman except where it was. That was about all I knew. And so we toured. We went through the whole thing,
I was there.
Yeah, you were. That's right.
That was my district.
Yeah, that's right. And I had no idea that the problems were as bad as they were at John Coleman. They had good leadership, had good student body, but the facility itself was a disaster.
It was.
Well, it's not anymore.
No, it's a diamond.
Yeah.
Miss Haley called me and I happened to be chair at that time, and she said, "Mr. Chairman, I need you to come to our school immediately." And of course, I'm going, "Oh no, what's happened?" And I said, "Well, does it have to be today?" She said, "Yes, sir, it has to be today." And so I went there expecting the worst. And when I got there, she took me on that tour, and she showed me all the issues that they were dealing with, especially with children trying to come in from all those portables that were lined up in the parking lot.
Disaster.
To go to the bathroom on a rainy day where they would have to walk through 2 or 3 inches of rainwater to go to the bathroom or to come in for lunch. And according to her, a child might start in a trailer classroom and not get out of a trailer until they went to middle school. And so it became clear that John Coleman had to become a priority.
My son-in-law's nephew went to Walter Hill, and he, except for art class and gym, he never got out of the trailer until he was in the 4th grade.
Wow.
And you know, that kind of stuff kind of makes you think. I tell you about Miss Haley, and we all know her well. Absolute, gosh almighty, what a woman.
Amen.
I tell
Amen.
you. But she was principal. But I thought she's sitting with me. We're sitting out in the little cart that you run around at Eagleville watching the football game, and we're sitting there talking about school board stuff, I guess. I don't know. And she was telling me that she was doing a tour of her own building, and one of the classes was doing the famous people. Select a famous person, write a report, tell them what you know. Okay, so she's there. She's listening to all these reports, and one kid has her as his favorite person, his hero, and she asked him why. And the little boy said, "Because you got us $30 million to build this new school." She said, "Well, I'm going to take the credit for it." She said, "But I think at 30, that tells you something right there, doesn't it? 30 million.
Yeah.
And it was built on land, as I guess most people know, right across the street almost, and we didn't even know we owned the land.
That's right.
When we built it, you know, we went and looked. Who owns this land? We want to buy it. Well, you own it, idiot. So,
I know.
Brian is here. I think he wants to take a break.
Well, I know we're about to take a break, but I did not want to leave this unsaid, that getting into that facility during the construction of the new building was impossible.
Right.
I don't know how the parents, the faculty, and everybody in the school bus drivers were able to access the old school through all that construction mess. During that time, though, I never heard one single complaint from a parent, a teacher, or anybody connected with that facility. They went through a horrible, but they saw the big picture and what was coming.
I need to say something else before Brian interjects our break that we're going to take eventually, and that is that this very sharp, I'm sure, young girl who's the intern over here. What's your name? Riley. Yes. Well, Riley, I want you to know something. If you haven't thought about it, and I mean this seriously as I can be, these problems that we're talking about, they're going to be your problems pretty soon, in your generation. They are. And that's the emphasis on education, why it's so important. I'll be gone. I'll be 80 in just a few months. I won't be around. And Wayne's 112. He won't be here either. But seriously, it's the people we're educating right now that are going to be working on these very same problems. I'm sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
Well, You're listening to the Jeff Jordan and the three old rambling men show. I think we've renamed it today, as Brian would say. And Riley's trying to keep us right. But hey, we're going to take our first break. We'll be right back.
At Middle Point, we are making major investments to transform our facility and our impact on the community. To date, we've invested $7.5 million in our on-site gas collection and control system, including the installation of 84 new gas wells and nearly 4,000 linear feet of horizontal collectors. These improvements have led to a 98% drop in odor reports, corresponding to a 52% increase in the landfill gas we collect. Follow along at middlepointlandfill.com.
There are some treasures here at Bell Jewelers, up to 50% off, that are waiting to be discovered. Hi, this is Trevor at Bell Jewelers. So if you'd like to make a deal, come by here at Bell Jewelers. Just imagine yourself with a big old ring or a nice bracelet or some nice big earrings. Like my granddad said, nothing sparkles like a Bell Jewelers diamond. Your favorite piece is just waiting to be discovered at Bell Jewelers. And it could be at our 50% off treasure chest. Bell Jewelers, 821 Northwest Broad, across from Toots.
Learn to make money 5 ways with rental real estate. Double your money with apartments. And get your map to financial freedom. And that map starts with a free workshop. Sign up now at lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the Join Free Workshop tab and attend online or in person. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. lifestylesunlimited.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimited.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential.
This message for all the men out there. Ladies, cover your ears. If you've been feeling tired and grumpy and have noticed a lack of motivation and drive, have weight gain and loss of muscle mass, these could all be signs of low testosterone levels. And at Low T Center, they make it quick and easy to get your levels checked. It's as simple as a blood test with their on-site lab, and they'll get your results back in about 25 minutes. What I love about Low T Center is geared towards us, men. They know we don't like to wait around. They know we're impatient, and they know that we like things simple. For me, at times, that means making things a little more simple to understand, too, because we're guys, and we're more focused on heading home to start working on that project car in the garage. Who knows what you're thinking? We're guys, there's no telling. But let me recommend Low T Center. Most health insurance is accepted for treatment there, and they have the affordable and convenient treatment options that include physician-monitored self-inject at-home treatment for their established patients, shipping treatments directly to you. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by AmeriCare Pest Control and the law offices of John Day.
This is a paid legal ad.
Hi, this is John Day of the Law Offices of John Day. I've lived and worked as a lawyer in Middle Tennessee for over 30 years, and to me, every single day has been an honor. That's why our firm is so involved with community programs like bicycle helmet giveaways and our Safe Ride Home program. At the Law Offices of John Day, we're not just looking to make donations. We want to make a difference in the community we hold so dear. And if you're ever injured, know that we are here for you too.
These are WGNS Good Neighbor events. At 11 o'clock this Saturday morning, the Rutherford County Democratic Party hosts its county presidential convention at the McFadden Community Center. Again, that'll be this Saturday morning at 11. Art and craft supplies are being collected for adults with intellectual disabilities, and they're doing that this Saturday from 10 until 1 over at the Lane Agri Park. Local author Jim Sandman will be at the Line Ball Library in downtown Murfreesboro this Saturday from 10 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. You heard him on the radio. Now meet Jim in person. He'll be talking about his book, Heaven is Like Eternal Sex. Jim Sandman will be at the Line Ball Library this Saturday from 10 until 2. And the Riverdale Theater Department's presentation of Disney's The Little Mermaid wraps up this weekend. Don't miss it at Riverdale High School. Enjoy coffee and conversation about local history this Saturday from 9 till noon. And that'll be at the one-room Ransom Schoolhouse, 717 North Academy Street.
Rutherford weather.
Mostly sunny skies here this afternoon with a high in the upper 60s. Southwest winds around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy and a low around 44. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS. Currently, it's 37.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. MTE's EV Ready program provides members with $50 in bill credits toward the installation of wiring to support 240-volt charging in their garages. Learn more at driveev.com.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
And good morning and welcome back to the second segment of Tuesday Mornings with Rick and Wayne. It's been our pleasure to have a great friend and community leader, former commissioner, former school board chairman, Jeff Jordan. You know, we've had some serious conversation here in this first segment, but I'd like to go to a little more positive side and remember back when I was in junior high at Thurman Francis, and you were pretty much a brand new educator.
Not pretty much, I was.
Out the gate. And what I would like for you to always remember is the positive impact that you had on the students that you had in contact with, you know, that you taught, that you coached, or, you know, I can remember being on a pep bus with you, and it was a different time. People, kids, chewing gum was or talking loud was an issue, but you were an amazing educator, but probably more than that, you were a friend to the student, and I think that's when I got on when I was elected to the school board, and knowing that I was going to get to work with you through the county commission, it just made that position that much more fun, knowing that we were going to interact again after all those years.
Well, I have to say that, and you've been very gracious, and I'm not sure that all that is deserved, but I appreciate it. Thurman Francis was the school you're talking about, was a brand new school. It had been open, I think, for like 6 months. It opened in January. I was not there in January. I was still in college. And Mr. Clifton Tucker was principal. And I came in the fall along with some other people, too. Boy, what a faculty. I mean,
sure.
My goodness, what a faculty. I think about Jane Curtis and Walter Phillips, and, well, I could go on, but just a lot of people that were on that faculty, great people. And it really was, if you could do it, and we did it, if you could do it, because we were overcrowded. And at that time, a lot of people don't remember this, Wayne, you and I do, but a lot of people have forgotten all about it. Really, Seward, that's not Stewart, it's Seward Air Force Base. Let's say it right. Seward Air Force Base was there, had thousands of people, at that facility. Well, the both Smyrna High School and Thurman Francis, a lot of the schools were about half and half. Local Smyrna students, and I might add Laverne students, because Laverne, it's hard to believe, but Laverne didn't even exist then as far as a city. It wasn't until the 70s that happened, and this is 66 and 67. So anyway, we got along great. We really did. These Air Force kids that had been all over the world,
sure,
and Smyrna students who hadn't, and it worked out okay. And I still think of a lot of those kids, and you and I have talked about some of them. I won't mention any names, but various people that we grew to really love then. And I think the key, at least one key, is to have a sense of humor and let that child know that you do care about them. If you can do that, a lot of times they will return that to you, maybe to some extent. I hear today. I don't know if y'all agree with this or not, but I hear people say, "Well, the kid doesn't care. They don't care. They're not paying any attention to what you're doing. They don't care about adults or anything." That's not true.
That's not true.
They may act like it, but they're watching you close. Mom, dad, in my case, great grandparent. And I think it's set an example and do the best you can and let them know you care about them and help them out. I know my friend Carl Buckner used to say, "Never give up on a kid, never." Well, I don't know, but he may have been right. Just eventually they'll come around, and maybe so. But I thought Thurman Francis was a melting pot of schools. If you could get through there, and boy, we were worked to death. We didn't have any. I think you just interrupt me, and I'll shut up, Wayne. From 8 o'clock till 3, I was never separated, never had a break. This is not just me. This is everybody in the building. I even took them to lunch and sat with them at lunch. And this was, my homeroom was 8th grade. Okay? And what I tell you, I'm sure they got sick of me, and maybe sometimes I got sick of them, but I don't know. But I will say this, and this is what's so unusual about that situation. Now, they didn't stay with me all day. We changed classes.
Sure.
So, and the building was overcrowded. I mean, it was. There were a lot of people there. That my homeroom and my first period American history class was 44 girls. Talk about being outnumbered. But we did okay.
Right.
Now you couldn't do that today. State wouldn't let you do it.
Sure.
But maybe somebody's wondering, well, how in the world why did it end up that way? Well, I could answer that question. Whoever did the scheduling, and I'm not going to mention his name, whoever did the scheduling put every girl basketball player and every girl that was going to go out for basketball and every girl that was a cheerleader or every girl that wanted to be a cheerleader and some other group of girls, I don't remember now who it was, he put them all in the same class. And they went through the day that way. The girls called it the convent. I didn't have anything to do with it. That's what they called it. But we got along all right.
Sure.
We did okay. And some of these people well. We've talked about it. They're still citizens of Smyrna and the surrounding area. And it was a great place. And we had it pretty good. We had good athletic teams, had good coaches, good faculty. It was okay.
It was for that time. It was a really diverse school population.
Yeah, and it was called, and you don't hear this term very often anymore. It was called a junior high because it went through the 9th grade. Schools are not 7, 8, and 9 anymore. You don't hear about that. They're usually, they're just not that. They may be 6 through 12, or most of them are 9 through 12 high schools. The freshmen are there in that building. I know when Riverdale opened, there was a good deal of discussion about Riverdale and Oakland. Well, we're going to send the 9th grade out there, or we're going to leave them at Central, let Central go to the 9th grade. Well, clearly the 9th grade went to Riverdale and went to Oakland, which worked out fine. It was okay.
So during that time when Thurman Francis was in operation, of course, we played Central freshmen, and so I assume the Central freshmen were at the high school at that time, and all of the other schools with the city went to 8th grade, maybe? I'm trying to recall.
No. Central High School was in operation at that time.
Right.
Okay, and they had a 9th grade team. I'm embarrassed to admit I don't remember.
Well, I mean, we played them. We played them in football and basketball, and I just assumed that they were the old Central at that time was was included ninth grade, but I wasn't sure since ninth grade was at Thurman Francis for Smyrna.
Well,
And
and
Laverne.
Central, yeah, and Central was not called a junior high because it was 9 through 12, but you could still play their freshmen
Right.
with your freshmen. You could do that, but I don't remember. And isn't that something I don't remember whether we did that? Well, you said we did. Well, you did.
Well, we accused Central of using some of their sophomores on
Oh,
their
yeah.
freshman team since they had such a one of the most outstanding high school football teams that I think that ever existed was the 71 state champs or 70. Okay, but Central always put out a very competitive team, whatever it would be, football, basketball, whatever.
You can still get a pretty good argument with some people around here that 70 team might have been the best football team in Murfreesboro ever. I don't know. Both Riverdale and Oakland. I know. You're right.
With the runs of what Riverdale had and Oakland's had,
But
Smyrna back to
maybe
back.
one of the
it's tough.
gauges,
That's right.
is where those student athletes went. Leo Martin went to Oklahoma, won a national championship. I know Damascus, the center, went to UT. Buddy Miller, and Damascus Miller was it? I
don't have a number for you, but I do know this, that 70 team had about the same number as Riverdale's their first championship team. I believe that's right.
That went off to play major college.
That went to Division I, and it's like 7 or 8 people. That's a ton of people.
Yeah,
you got that many number ones on your squad, you're probably going to win the state championship. But times are different. First of all, you have to play a lot more games today.
Sure.
And so it's a different world. But we had some pretty good battles with Thurman Francis on the basketball court. I know that. I know the one year we were with Bradley and they beat us in the Kiwanis tournament. It still bothers me. We should have won if I wasn't the head coach. Doesn't matter, but we were loaded. They were loaded. You were talking about we had this story was over a number of years, but I promised to be brief. We went. When I was coaching at Central, we had a good team. We really did. I didn't know anything, but they seemed to be able to do some stuff. And anyway, we went to Donaldson, okay, and we played them at our place also, and they beat us there, a point or two. And so we go to Donaldson in the afternoon, and we're playing them, and it's a lot of great people on both teams. Well, we get beat, and as a guy on the first of all, we're driving for the winning layup at midcourt. I can still see it. Guy's wide open, and the referee blows his whistle and clears the cheerleaders off the floor. And we're driving for the winning layup. Anyway, we lose it in overtime. But there was a kid on that team, and I'm not going to say his name because he could well be sitting in the car downstairs. Great player. And I found out later he's playing at Vanderbilt, okay? And he's a year older than he should have been. They didn't have a rule. They could play whoever was in the building.
Oh, wow.
and we couldn't. Well, they only have one, but that's all they needed.
That's all they needed.
But anyway, we had some good athletic times. But we haven't even mentioned it, barely touched on it, and it's such a major problem, and that is our growth in Rutherford County, Smyrna, Laverne. Yes, Eagleville and some of the surrounding suburbs. Some of those suburbs they're still there in name, but they really almost disappeared.
Sure.
I mean, you can go out to Rockvale. And a place I dearly love, I went to school there, and it's an entirely different place. It's remarkable. the number of people that have moved into our community, and we have benefited greatly by them being here in many, many ways. Lots of things that our folks have done, and new citizens do. I'm not against all the growth necessarily, but it really creates problems for you. It really does. And if you don't believe it, drive to Nashville tomorrow and check out I-24.
Pothole heaven.
Oh, good
everywhere is right
gracious.
now. You're listening to our great friend Jeff Jordan. We're going to take our break, the second break on time this time with the three rambling old men. So we'll be right back.
He means me, folks.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Rayburn Insurance in Smyrna.
Come see me, Rick Hall, at Rayburn Insurance in downtown Smyrna today.
Online at rayburn.net.
When severe weather strikes, we break in.
A tornado watch is in effect for Rutherford County.
The most up-to-date weather information.
We'll be here with you on radio and with Rutherford Weather Video Channel.
Rutherford Weather Updates on WGNS. And watch on YouTube and Facebook with Rutherford Weather.
Hi, this is Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates. You might know me as the voice of the Blue Raiders, but I want to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Whether you're buying or selling, it's time to choose Chip. Do you have a growing family and need to upsize? Are you an empty nester now and need to downsize? Are you thinking of selling your current home but just worried you can't find something else? Well, it's time to choose Chip. I'm looking to be your trusted advisor in real estate. I'm Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates.
Here at Bud's Tire, we make buying Michelin tires simpler. I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We offer a straightforward approach to service, including nationwide warranties with every purchase. Stop in today to see our full lineup of Michelin and BF Goodrich tires. For whatever you drive, Michelin and BF Goodrich have a tire to fit any need. Bud's Tire Pros, hassle-free, guaranteed. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstireprostn.com.
Hi, this is Bob Cornell, pastor of Covenant Church right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The answer that you've been looking for is found in Jesus and what he accomplished at the cross. You see, Jesus changes lives from the inside out. We would love for you to join us at Covenant Church, located at 1124 Brinkley Ave right here in Murfreesboro. We have services Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. and Tuesdays at 7 p.m. You can learn more about us at our Cornell Ministries YouTube channel. We want you to grow in Christ at Covenant Church.
Premier 6 Theater on Broad in Jackson Heights.
Let's all go to the movies.
Check out what's showing at murfreesboromovies.com. Popcorn popped fresh daily.
Movies at the good old
Premier 6 on Broad in Jackson Heights.
COVID-19 has cast a spotlight on the stark inequalities that drive poverty. The poorest communities in the U.S. and around the world are suffering the most. Oxfam believes we can put systems in place to protect health and livelihoods in the future if we work together with dignity and compassion. Learn how you can help offer safety to the most vulnerable and fight for a more resilient future at oxfamamerica.org. Sponsored by Oxfam America.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
And good morning and welcome back to the third and final segment of Tuesday Mornings with Rick and Wayne. And it's certainly been our pleasure to have former Chairman of the School Board, Commissioner Jeff Jordan. This morning we've been reminiscing. Since you used to sign off your radio program saying hi to your granddaughter, I believe, I'm going to say hello to my granddaughter Riley and my grandson Oliver this morning. They like to watch the podcast and they get a kick out of seeing Rick and I on television. So good morning to...
I'm Riley's best friend, by the way.
Yes. Yeah, Riley did take a shine to Rick real quick.
Well, of course.
I had toys to give her, but we won't bring that up.
But this again, kind of a reminiscing show this morning, and it's fun for me because I enjoy your company so much. You've been a mentor, an educator for me personally, and just very fond of you. If I haven't told you that.
Well, I appreciate your remarks. You brought up something just a second ago, or somebody did here about the old Shoney's building, and we used to broadcast from there, of course, on Saturday morning, right. and you could see it out this window over here.
Yeah.
And but at any rate, it was it's now a liquor store. That was a Shoney's at one time, and then and then they moved the Shoney's and built another one next door, and then. At some point in there, it sold. The Shoney's franchise. A lady bought four of the Shoney's, including the one in Smyrna, which I noticed is now closed. Been closed, hasn't it?
Right.
And there was one in Mount Juliet, maybe, or Lebanon, and there were four of them anyway. This lady bought them, and I'm sure she was terrific. But Shoney's was heading for the scrap heap, I guess. And now it was the 219 building. And now they've torn it down. The city's doing a big renovation project over there on Broad, which is fine. But Brian and I, and others, but mostly Brian, we closed that place down. We had Saturday shows, and then we would eat there when we came back, from ball games, and find out how everybody would go there, and we'd find out how everybody did, and around the mid-state or wherever they were playing. So it's a different world, but things change. I think Brian does the show from here now, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. I think so. I believe he does the show from the...
They do.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And he brings the food and stuff up here, donuts and biscuits or whatever. And they have a really good coaches show on Saturday morning with just about every sport represented at one time or another.
I do miss the Shoney's Big Boy.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
And I was disappointed to find out when at some point I went north of the Mason-Dixon, and they were called Frisch's Big Boy and Robertson Big Boy. And
yep.
I thought, that's not right.
That's right. My brother-in-law lives in Lexington, Kentucky. He did at that time, and he had a Big Boy in Nicholasville. Which is right outside of Lexington, another small little town, and they had a Big Boy, and I got all excited. I thought, all right, boy, we're going to, no, not the same.
Sure isn't.
Different.
Well, it's kind of like sweet tea in the South and the attempt for sweet tea in the North. It's just not the same.
Doesn't have enough sugar in it.
Apparently not. Just not sweet enough.
They asked me one time, we were up in, I think Vermont, traveling around, and we stopped for lunch, my wife and I did, and we ordered sweet tea, and the waitress didn't really necessarily understand exactly what that was. But she brought it, but no ice at all. I thought, well, I'm in Vermont. That's pretty good. That's pretty clear.
Well past the Mason-Dixon, I suspect. Anything new in your life that you want to share with the audience this morning?
Well, I don't know that anything is just brand new. I do have two great grandchildren now. Jake and Skylar will be 7 here in just a couple of months, and he's playing baseball. He's playing coach pitch baseball, and Matthew is 2.5, and both of them, is not surprising. They're wherever they are, they're in charge.
Yeah.
You know how that works. You, of all people, know how that works.
Yes, I do.
And we're enjoying them, and I've enjoyed retirement to this point, although I'm not fully retired. I have some other things that I do, but I do a little radio with Tim Tackett on Mondays. But no, everything is pretty good, and I know you've had some changes in your life, and I hadn't seen Rick here very much until we did this show a few times, and I always like, Rick, you still ought to be there. You ought to be on the chairman of the county commission.
He's still involved. He
Yeah.
still has a toe in.
I've learned that it pays to have some influence, but it sure doesn't pay to be the bullseye standing there taking
Yeah.
the darts.
That's true. You're right about that.
I love to be a voice for them, but I don't know with the way campaigning is today. I don't know if I would ever want to get into that again.
I know you, and it's 10 o'clock, so you got to be about ready to go. But I will tell you something that I always found unusual. I will just put it that way. When I decided to run for the county commission, which was back in 2006, I guess, or something like that.
Yes, sir.
I had a lot of people advising me, of course, as to what I needed to do, and I paid attention. And I did it from house to house. I went out in the Cason Lane area, the Bellwood area where I live, and I knocked on doors, and if they were in the yard, I talked to them. I'm sure they were sick of seeing me coming. But anyway, I was told how mad people were about the party politics, what party people were, and taxes. Okay, so I'm prepared for that. I've got something, an answer, I guess. And I went and I talked. I went to 1,000 porches the first year, 1,040, I think, and I kept a record. I had one person mention taxes. 2 people asked me, was I a Democrat or a Republican? Out of 1,000. I didn't care. You know what they want to talk about? Schools.
That's right.
Traffic. And if you lived in Cason Lane, you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
But it's that way all over the county now. It's everywhere. I know that Ridley Parkway in Smyrna just, I mean.
Well, they widened it, but it's already inundated all over again.
I don't know if you listened to the show, but we had superintendent at the time was Don Odom, because I come on the commission the same time you did, and he brought in a piece of paper that he has kept all these years, and it showed that 4 years we were on the commission, we touched 14 schools, either with remodels, and part of that was with Wayne when we did Smyrna Primary, then we did John Coleman, and we're building 2 new schools at the same time with the Stewart's Creek area that was going on out there, and the land deal that we had that was on all in that 4 years of our commission. But now we raised taxes 2 out of the 4 years to pay for a whole lot of that, but we weren't kicking the can. We got a lot done in those 4 years, and I was only there for those 4, but I hang my hat and proudly that we got a lot done in that time, and you carried it on after I left, obviously, but I did enjoy those 4 years with you that we had up there and what we were able to get done.
And I enjoyed them too. And I don't know about well, I do know about the 2 of you too. I do know. Really, one of the best parts of all of that is all the people that you meet. Yes. You know, I mean, really, and most of them, although they may be mad at you, they may even disagree with you. That's okay. But I've met a lot of great people.
Amen.
You know,
Amen.
I saw our finance director Lisa Nolan just last week. You know, and it was like a homecoming. I was so glad. I was so glad to see her. What a wonderful employee and person she was, finance director. But anyway.
Well, God bless you.
Well,
Mr.
same
Chairman.
right back at you.
You know, just Rick, before we sign off, could I do a couple of PSAs for the Alzheimer's of Tennessee? They've got the Saturday, April 20th, the park at Hollinsdale Farm. You can sign up at alztennessee.org/Franklin. And then, of course, they have the May 4th, 2024 out at Hot Springs. I think May the 4th be with you. So, you know, Alzheimer's, dementia, it's something that affects so many of our families now. So we told Miss Cheryl we would keep everybody informed.
So you might want to go to that one. So the May 4th show, it's an 80s show.
I could, but I can't remember when they were.
He dresses up for it, and I hear it's a good time to watch him go. But
okay, that's all right.
But hey, I hope you enjoyed the show again, and thank you again for all my cousins in town. I've sure enjoyed their time with me.
Well, they escaped Florida.
Well, my cousin is assistant principal, so I'm recruiting her hard. I'm going to call Dr. Sullivan as soon as I get off of here and see what we work number-wise. Maybe I can keep her in Tennessee.
Well, is she certified in science or math?
She's certified in everything.
Okay.
She's an overachiever. That whole family are overachievers. They're awesome.
She's got a job.
Yeah, she's hired.
Thanks, guys. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you, too.
Everybody have a great week, and we'll see you again next week.